For this week's direct instruction, we will be reviewing chapters 18 through 21 in the Red Badge of Courage, which you read for last week. Let's begin by talking about chapter 18. In chapter 18, while Henry and Wilson are getting water, they overhear the officers talking about needing a military unit for an offensive charge. This is a huge deal. This will be Henry's unit's, which is the 304th, first offensive charge. Second, Henry realizes that in the grand scheme of things, he doesn't matter. He's just one more of the mule drivers. The troop referred to as mule drivers is because they are not seasoned fighters. They are not a precise, well-trained unit. They lack experience, they lack sometimes ability, and they lack the expertise that comes with being seasoned and experienced fighters. Crane shows us quite a bit about the officers in this chapter. The generals are responsible for sending men into battle, although they know that they are sending them to their deaths. Officers have some degree of compassion, but must also be realistic, and the officers are enthusiastic leaders. Chapter 19. In this chapter, the troops rush ahead with enthusiasm. All regard for safety seems to be put to the side. They're most worried about charging the enemy and attempting to be successful. It's not until a little ways into the chapter that Crane says they become men again, meaning that once again they are able to reason and realize the danger. Before that, they're acting so much like animals. In this chapter, we once again see the shift in Harry's character continue. He fearlessly charges across the field when given the original order to fight. He feels great pride in the flag moving ahead and beside of him, which is extremely motivational for him. He completely lacks the indecisiveness that he has had prior to this point in the novel. This brings us to our first question. The flag is a symbol of our nation and all that our nation stands for. In a short paragraph, discuss the flag's symbolism and how it affects Henry. Do you think the flag would have the same effect on people today? Does the flag stand for something different/more for soldiers than it does for an ordinary citizen? As always, I encourage you to pause the video at this point, answer the question in the submission box for the assignment, and then resume the video after you have answered the question. Chapter 20. The troops begin to retreat to safety, but they begin getting confused. Are they headed in the right direction or back to the fighting? So in all the chaos that's going on, they've kind of gotten themselves turned around and they're not really sure where they're going. Henry, who is now carrying the flag, helps the officers regain control and squash the panic that the other troops are experiencing. Again, Henry is continuing to show his newfound leadership and his courage. And this time, the regiment attacks the approaching enemy with success. Question number 2. Henry comments that this is the first time that he's actually seen the enemy in any detail. They had been too far away before to see them clearly. How do you think it changes Henry's perspective to see the enemy face to face? What is it about seeing those that he is fighting that adds additional layers to the war? Chapter 21. In this chapter, Henry's regiment is made fun of by another regiment for retreating. They criticize them for not having gone farther in the attack and covering more ground and taking more area. Henry's mood shifts in this chapter from anger at those making fun of them and criticizing them to anger at his own troop for not having gone further. So he's starting to agree with those who were making fun of him and making fun of the other people. Again, we see Henry's mood shift quickly and the quick rise in his anger. So he's obviously exhibiting some instability. Question number 3. We also see that Henry is now considered to be heroic, even by the officers. What do you think about Henry as a hero? Do you think that if the other soldiers and officers knew that Henry had run, their opinion of him as a hero would change? Or do you think that he has now made up for his earlier cowardly decision? This is the end of this week's direct instruction video. Please make sure that you have answered all 3 questions as completely as possible. Feel free to email me or contact me with any questions or concerns you may have about this week's assignments, the book, or the course in general, and have a good week.